So welcome. Happy morning, everyone. Welcome to SCBD Toastmasters Club. Before I formally open the meeting, let me just explain a little bit about the rules in SCBD Toastmasters meeting. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Can anyone confirm? Yes, you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's
Oh, okay.
visible now.
Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yes, we can see the screen, Calvin.
Thank you. Okay, so the rules are simple. Be on time, which we already are be on time, right? So first rule, scratch. And the second rule is that turn your camera on. Why? Because we would like to be present here with others, right? If we are in a physical meeting, of course we see the face of others, right? And because we are in this virtual meeting, so of course it is really preferable if you can turn the camera on so that we can see your beautiful face. And the next one is please keep your microphone on mute if it's not your turn to speak. And if you would like to speak or it is your turn to make a speech, then of course, turn on your microphone so that we can hear your beautiful voice. And of course, be fully present and have fun with us here in SCBD Toastmaster meeting. Now let me formally open the meeting by greeting all of you. So please unmute yourself, and answer this. Happy morning, everyone.
Happy morning.
Morning.
Konnichiwa.
Morning.
I don't know whether konnichiwa means happy morning or not, but
Yes.
thank you. But here in SCBD Toastmaster, why we say happy morning? Because we would like to keep the morning spirit, even though it is already late night in Southeast Asia, especially for Toastmaster Mike Lim, all the way from Australia. It is even later, but we would like to keep the morning spirit here in our meeting. Welcome to SCBD Toastmaster for all of you guys, and especially for our distinguished Toastmaster Minsunari, and we will also have another distinguished Toastmaster Tantia, who will be the one who deliver the education speech. She will be coming, and yeah, welcome. Let me, for all of the guests, especially first-time guests, let me just explain a little bit about SCBD Toastmaster. So SCBD Toastmaster is part of the Toastmaster International, whereby it is a 100-year-old organization, whereby all of its members and all of its guests actually can learn to become a better public speaker in its meetings. So usually we do routine meetings, right? Some clubs. Hello. Okay, so some clubs are doing weekly meetings. Some other clubs maybe do bi-weekly meetings, but all of us are doing doing routine meetings so that we can practice our public speaking skills. So even as a guest, a non-paying guest, you can practice your public speech, right? But then again, there are also others who are called members, Toastmasters, who are willing to pay that $7.5 per month to become a member. Why do we pay that much? It's still not much actually, but why do we pay? Because we would like to get more. We would like to get more benefit, right? The benefit of becoming a member, a Toastmaster, is that you will get a pathway. What is a pathway? Pathway is some kind of like an education curriculum, right? In college, in school, you will get the path of learning math, learning economics, learning all kind of sciences. Here in Toastmaster, you will get the curriculum pathway to learn certain aspect of public speaking. For example, you would like to instill more humors in your speech, then you can take the pathway called engaging humor. Or maybe you would like to become a better presenter. Then you can take the pathway of presentation mastery. There are 11 pathways, and all of them are free for you to take, right? And of course, if you are only just taking the pathway, the curriculum, it still means nothing, right? If there is no one who gives the feedback for you. So if you would like to maybe make your speech in YouTube, in internet, in Instagram, There will be others who will give you feedbacks, but maybe those kind of feedbacks are not as polite as what we can give here. What we are giving here is polite feedbacks, and of course, hoping that it can be constructive feedback for you and also for your next speeches. So if you would like to know more about Toastmaster International, of course, you can always come here in SCBD Toastmaster. We are usually doing our meeting every Friday at 7 p.m. Jakarta time. And due to this pandemic, then of course we are doing here in Zoom. But if we are going to be back into the normal times, we will be doing our physical meeting in the SCBD area of South Jakarta. So that's the introduction about SCBD Toastmaster. Now let me just open the meeting with the sound of this power bank. Sound, and I give the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Garda. Please, bro.
All right, thank you very much, our President Toastmaster Galvin, for the introduction and to open the meeting for today. Before I start, I would like to greet happy morning, my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Welcome back to our regular meeting of SCBD Toastmasters happening every Friday evening on Zoom. I am delighted to welcome you and host you for today because despite this unprecedented times, there are always a new ways, an exciting way for us to learn together, regardless of where we are at the moment. Just like what Toastmaster Galvin mentioned earlier, that we have a visiting Toastmasters all the way from Australia and anywhere or you are today in Indonesia. So before I start, I would like to share my screen a little bit. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So again, this is a very exciting day for us because today we are having an educational session that is not quite happening in every part of our meeting. So for those of you who have spent your Friday evening with us today, thank you very much. We truly appreciate your moment to share some joyful feelings and joyous evening with us today. Because today we are hosting an educational session from one of distinguished Toastmasters in Toastmasters. We have distinguished Toastmaster Tantia Dian Permata Indah, who will be joining with us later. And our theme for today is about designing career path. This is quite relevant to all of us today, for everyone, including myself, that regardless of what we are currently doing with our studies, our job, there is always a spare time to reflect on ourselves, what kind of life that we would like to pursue on the very next year, the next 5 years, or maybe some other years to come. And maybe this could be your new way, a new gateway for you to have a clearer path in order to pave yourself in the next future. And as our usual meeting in Toastmasters, we have three main sessions comprising prepared speech session that will be from our members to deliver their speech projects with regard to their paths, just like what our president had previously mentioned. And we usually have table topic session for all participants, not only for our members, but all guests can also participate in this session. And lastly, we have evaluation session. But because today we will have an educational session from DTM Tantia, we will replace the table topic session to be an educational session. I will explain to you later more about it. So accompanying myself as Toastmasters of the meeting today, allow me to introduce my agents that will be our four outstanding members from SCBD Toastmasters. First, we have the General Evaluator, that will be Toastmaster Aryo Widodo. Toastmaster Aryo will serve as the General Evaluator who will evaluate the whole meeting for today. And Toastmaster Aryo will be accompanied by his rangers, that will be Toastmaster Andika Sumarsono, who will act as the grammarian. So what does the grammarian do? The grammarian will act and serve as a grammar police. So in Toastmasters, it is a safe and perfect way for us to learn and to make mistakes. Regardless of our native language, it is highly encouraged to deliver your best performance for today, because at the end of our meeting, Toastmaster Andika, who will serve as the grammarian, will present us with his evaluation with some grammatical errors and quoting our beautiful phrases for today. And next we have Toastmaster Nurul Aisyah as the RNWOD counter. So what does RNWOD counter do? Basically, our counter will count how many filler words for each speaker performed for every part of the meetings in Toastmasters. So again, this is a very safe place for us to make mistakes, and I would like to encourage all of you today who will serve to speak in our meeting to deliver your best. And because Toastmaster Andika and Toastmaster Nurul here will present us with the report at the very end of our meeting. And lastly, we have timer that will be Toastmaster Dewey. But because this is quite special for everyone, timer will present herself. And without further ado, I would like to call upon the screen Toastmaster Dewey to explain your role as timer for today. Toastmaster Dewey, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, you may explain a bit about your role as timer.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting. Happy morning, everyone.
Happy morning.
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 Okay. Thank you for answering. So my role today as timer, the one who will manage the time. No, you, the speaker, have to manage the time, as we have to practice time management on a daily basis and now on a weekly basis. From our meeting, I will give time signals based on the screen background. So first I will my background into green when it reaches 4 minutes, and then yellow when it reaches 5 minutes, and red when it reaches 7 minutes. So you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. Since we only have one speaker that is with only 5 to 7 minutes length. So that's the signals. So please remember the signals and pay attention to the whole your speech. Enjoy your speech. Enjoy this meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dewey, for explaining your role as timer. So for the prepared speaker, please ensure that you pin the timer beforehand before you deliver your speech so that you will be eligible as the most favorite speaker of today. And now let's move on to the first session of today. We have the prepared speech session. So who will be our speaker for today? Our speaker for today is none other than our very own member in SCBD Toastmasters. That will be Toastmaster Irfan Saleh. Toastmaster Irfan will deliver his Level 1 Project 2A speech about evaluation and feedback on the first speech, with the speech title, A Leader is a Meaning Creator. But I will not be the one who introduced Toastmaster Irfan to the screen, so I would like to call upon the stage Toastmaster Galvin as his evaluator to introduce our speaker. Toastmaster Galvin, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Garda. So tonight we will hear Toastmaster Irfan's speech with the title of A Leader is a Meaning Creator. Well, for some of us, we already know that Toastmaster Irfan is a leader in his team. So we would like to hear more about his experience of becoming a leader. And now, without further ado, let me welcome you, Toastmaster Irfan. a leader is a meaning creator. A leader is a meaning creator. Toastmaster Irfan.
Hello, happy morning, everyone. Am I
Happy
audible
morning.
and visible?
Yes.
Okay. Dear fellow Toastmaster and guests, I so if the answer is no. My first question, a team at the office, just raise your hand. Okay. Do you have subordinates? Okay. And do you want to have the team that deliver a good result? Okay. Thank you very much. Some of you will challenge me with the questions. How we can make it happen, Irfan? During my experience handling a team, there are three main points to have a good teams with good deliver results performance, especially during these pandemic situations. First is talk less and listen more. Statistically, our body has 2 ears and 1 mouth. People want to be heard more rather than receiving more directions. For example, if we get a call from our boss, our mind will automatically imagine, oh, there's an additional job, oh, there's an additional direction, oh, there is a complaint, and etc. But if our leader gives us a call and asks, how's your day today? And what's your problem? How can I help you? It totally will change all the situations. You know, during this pandemic, every kind of job, every kind of business will facing a big problems in any kind of industries, including in healthcare, hospital. We have problems. So we should be more creative to keep more empathy to our team by listening more rather than talk more. Second, complain less and appreciate more. You know, we have a hard situations. To reach the target is more difficult rather than in the situation before COVID, right? Mostly we have more effort to reach the target. Then, if we are a leader for the team, we should appreciate more of any kind of achievement from our teams, even though it is a small progress. You know, last meeting, Toastmaster Dentia talked about progress. Progress is kind of process. So that kind of situation, that kind of achievement that our teams already make, we should appreciate them. Third, watch less and do more. We live here is to solve problems. Sometimes we have a boss that, okay, boss, we have a problem. We should figure it how to solve this. And then our boss just, okay, just do with your way and then I will see the result. No, this kind of situation is we don't need that kind of directions, but we need our boss help us, right? Okay, Irfan, you have a problems. What can I do for you? Just simple words will change a lot of process, a lot of result, and of course will change our motivation to work, right? By having these 3 points during my experience, it helped me a lot during this pandemic. By having more empathy to the team and also give more motivation to them, by more listening, appreciate more, and then we together with them, we work to solve the problem, not to let the problem, not to let them to solve the problems, we work with them. That's the solutions. Leader is a meaning creator for all of the followers. Leader is not a manager. Managers can put some numbers and then we should achieve it. We should be more faster. We should be number one, etc. But we are a leader. We are a meaning creator for all of us. We should be more empathic. We should be more, keep our spirit, keep our teams. Because to have a good perform teams, we are not only to work with the procedures, but we also need to work with heart. And that is the key to make your team still have a good performance and then keep the team in the company. In these kind of situations, the company needs the people. You know, I have an experience, I have a lot of job vacancy, but nowadays it's hard to find a good worker. There's a lot of unemployment, yes, of course, but the one who would have a quality is very, very hard to find. So we are a leader, we are a meaning creator. How about you? Thank you. That's all from me.
Fantastic, Toastmaster Irfan. For everyone, let's give Toastmaster Irfan a round of applause for his outstanding speech that is also meaningful. And yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Toastmaster Irfan, because what I like, and if I may quote from your speech, is that appreciate any achievement arising from our team, no matter how small it is. And you also emphasize that for all leaders out there, not only leaders, but including ourselves, to have more empathy and provide motivations for those in needs. Thank you, Toastmaster Irfan. That is truly remarkable and heartwarming speech. And next,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Since we only have one prepared speaker for today, I will proceed to our next session and our main sessions. I already checked on our participant list that we already have our notable speaker for today. But before that, I would like to encourage everyone to provide Toastmaster Irfan with a constructive feedback regarding his speech earlier, so that this is also one of the exciting journey in Toastmasters, because not only do the members can provide the feedbacks to fellow members, but everyone, including guests, can also provide feedbacks regarding the speaker's speech that has been delivered. You can send your feedback and comments to Toastmaster Irfan through the private chat and Zoom. And now, since we have passed our first session, now we will proceed to the next and main agenda for today. That will be the educational session. So I already mentioned who would be our speaker for today. Please welcome to distinguished Toastmaster Tantia Dian Permata Indah, CPC. She is currently a distinguished Toastmasters and a career coach. Previously, DTM Tantia served as the head of customer operations at Traveloka from 2014 to 2016. And she moved to Allo Doctor as vice president of operations from 2019 to 2020. And currently, distinguished Toastmaster Tantia is the chief operating officer of Zenius. I would say that DTM Tantia, our speaker for today, is truly a lady boss or boss lady. And I couldn't wait for her to share with us on how to design.
As Toastmaster Gada is suffering a connection issues, is disconnected for the moment. And for the moment, I'll just take the role as the Toastmaster of the meeting until Toastmaster Gada back to the meeting. Hello,
everyone.
guys. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, Garda is back. Back to you, Garda.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aryo. My apology, everyone. Sometimes this is one of the obstacles we have encountered during online meetings. Sometimes you are not being supported enough with the internet connection. My apology for that. Okay, so without further ado, please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Tantia Dian Permata Indah with How to Design Your Own Career Path. DTM Tantia, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you, DTM Tantia?
I'm good. I'm live from Bandung.
Oh.
I'm actually out of town today, but it's okay. That's why, pardon me for a bit of this space because this is the only nook I have in my room. So welcome. Good evening, everyone.
Have a good evening. So yeah, even if that you are in Bandung, you are still superb and look very, as a professional speaker already, DTM Tantia.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Excited to share today. So I'm going to share, oh, you're in Bandung too. Nice. Okay. So is it okay if I start sharing my screen, yeah?
Yes, please. I will stop sharing for mine. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Awesome. So let me share my screen. And okay, is it visible right now?
Yes.
It's visible.
Yes. Okay, let me just present it for, I'm presenting from Canva, but still lagging. So while we're waiting for this link to work, I would like to give a bit of introduction first. So it's very exciting for me to share about career. And in career, I don't call it like career as a career, but I call it Project U. So this is beyond career. Because what I believe in is that there is an old saying from Rene Suwandono. A couple of years ago, he was publishing a book called Your Job is Not Your Career. And then that's true because job doesn't define our career. And then what is exciting that I'm going to share today is that you have control on your career. So sometimes as a worker, we often say to ourselves like, I don't have any control on my career. My career depends on the company. It depends on my job. It depends on the manager. But here we are working in the era of industry 4.0, and you have the control on your own career. That's why I call it as a project you, because you become the project itself. So with this short presentation, we'd like to share on the tips, how to ditch the ladder, discover the opportunity, and also design your career that works for you. So I'm Tantia. I'm a startup junkie. I'd like to say as for the last 7 years, I've been working in startup. And then within the last 10 years, this is my 6th company. So it's a quite jump here and there, but I'm going to share you in a bit that it's okay to be like that. I know that in the past, when I was graduating from the university back in 2010, there's an old saying that, millennials nowadays are very kutulancat, like moving from one place to another place. But I'm going to share with you like what is the background and then how does that action serve towards achieving my purpose in my career. And I would like to say that I'm an enabler and evolver. It's a brand that I put on my LinkedIn. And then it's important for you to own your brand. I'm going to share later on how to create that brand. But having the title of enabler and evolver, I call it as my own personal avenger, helps me to define who I am so that it's easier if I'm looking for a job or if the potential employer would like to qualify me. So who is Tantia? What differentiates Tantia from the other workers? And I would like to say that I'm an enabler and evolver. And lately, around 2 months ago, I got my license as a coach because I'm very into coaching, especially career coach. I would like to help people to achieve their career targets and helping them on navigating throughout the career complexities and also own their career journey. So let me just quickly have a snippet on what happens between then and now. So I actually even have one more company that I didn't mention here back in 2010 when I was just graduating from the university, I was in a research company, and then I moved to a headhunting company. So a headhunter, I was really into headhunting people, means that I hunt for heads. If I see potential people, I move them from one place to another place, and I'm being commissioned for that. Since then, I developed a very strong interest in career because I never knew that someone can move to another place. I thought that for the entire life, someone needs to stay in one place, like my father and my grandpa. But apparently, there are so much possibilities and opportunities out there. And then in 2013, I moved to a small company called Touchpoint. At that time, I made the decision because I want to be a marketing expert. I said to myself, like, did I want to be in HR, or do I want to be in marketing? And then I made the conscious decisions that I want to feel, how does it feel to be in marketing? And then after that, I moved to Traveloka, become the customer ops. I had no idea whatsoever about what is customer operation, what is customer service. That time, I never even answer a single phone call or answer any email. But then the CEO, Pak Ferry Nardi, gave me the opportunity to lead team, and it grows tremendously from 20 people to 400 people within 2 years. And then I moved to Allo Doctor. In Allo Doctor, it was quite long in a startup sense, as I was there for almost 4 years. And in Allo Doctor, it was an exciting journey as I was involved in creating so many new and exciting products for Allo Doctor, and it becomes their main source of revenue until now. And then last year, I made a target to myself. I want to be a CEO before I'm 30, or at least when I was 30. So last year, I moved to Zenius, and until now, still in Zenius as the Chief of Operating Officers, help to shape the entire operational functions of Zenius, ensuring that we are flexible enough and agile enough to achieve our target. So this is like my career trajectory. What is exciting is that I've been into multiple type of roles, from HR to marketing to now operations, and then I found my true interest and true love in operations. And when I look back, I think like, does all this process come coincidentally? Like, oh, suddenly I'm into operations. Apparently, it is something that I saw as a pattern since many years ago, even before I went into university. I naturally always involve myself to lead a project, any kind of project, from RT project to family projects to school project. I always count myself to lead that because I just love to manage people, to make the process as efficient as possible. And apparently that was the base to become an operation leaders. So what I see here is that sometimes you think like, oh, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I am now. I don't even know what my passion is. But ladies and gentlemen, that passion doesn't come by itself. It doesn't just been given from there. It's actually, to find that passion, you need to be engaged, because passion comes from engagement. So it means that if you haven't found your passion yet, or some things that you feel like so excited about, just engage in so many different activities so that you will find what is your true love. So in today's discussion, we are going to quickly discussing about what is career industry look like right now, what is the new era of work, and then would like to guide you to discover your strengths and finding the authentic you. And then I would like to guide you on how to bring that future to now. Because what I believe is that you should not wait, you should start now. So squiggly career, a new era of work. Many years ago, when my dad joined Bank Bumidaya, careers was like a ladder. So you need to go from one place to another place, and then it will be like determined in a sort of an old-fashioned way. Perhaps you are working there for 3 years, and then you will go to another level, and then working for another 5 years, working to another level, and like that. But right now, careers is squiggly. It's messy, but it's exciting as well. It means that there is no certain pattern. You can go from one place to another place. You can be in operations, and next day you'll be in marketing. Next day you'll be in product management. Maybe you would like to take a sabbatical a year off because you want to enjoy the world. But this is what careers look like today. And I need to remind you that in nowadays career, there is no certain age group that is working in the workforce, because you can find someone that is so young entering the workforce. You can find someone that might be already having like a pregnancy leave, raising their kids for 5 years and then going back to the career. You can also find those who are already retired but decided to come back to the workforce as an expert. So there are so many possibilities nowadays. So what happened? It means that because worlds become so complex, there are no 2 days are the same. It means that every day you're going to find different challenges. And we also have this, what I call as always on culture. It means that it doesn't mean that when you off from work or when you put your laptop off, that your working time is it's ended, because it will be always on. And then the next one is that career paths are disappearing. Means that you are not going to be dependent on your manager nor your company or your director for you to go up. You need to find and you need to establish your own career path. So what does it mean? It means that you need to find a fulfillment, and that sense of fulfillment is your own responsibilities. You need to find what works best for you, that energizes you and also motivates you. And at the same time, you need to also design an operating system, your own operating system, so that you can control the controllable. It means that you have the control on your own career. So before we go further on how to find your strength, these are some high demand skills that is becoming a trend nowadays. And how I find this, it's based on what usually becomes the most published job opening in various job portals. The first one is sales experience. So any sales experience, if you have that natural calling where you like to offer things to people, you might want to explore sales. And sales right now is no longer something that is lazy, because there are so many opportunities that are related with sales. It's not only those who phone call people, but also when you manage accounts, it's also sales. And then data analysis, we're working in the hyper data right now. The more you are in control with data, the more you can predict the future of the consumer and of course the future of the company. And then growth skills means that you can lead the company towards a certain growth trajectory so that the company will not stay stagnant. And then also technical skills, if you have a certain ability, technicalities, like maybe you are into coding or you are into design, that is a specific technical skills. And also ability to wear multiple hats, because nowadays you cannot select like, oh, I just want to work this one, or I just want to do this one. You might want to explore different things. You need to know how to listen, and you need to know, most importantly, how to get things done. So that is the high demand skills. Now, let's move on into how to discover your strengths. So I believe that passion is not a magic word. For me, the passion itself is a combination of what your natural strength is and what you see as an opportunities, and then you marry both. So that's why it's really important to start that question instead of what is my passion? You need to start from what is your strength, because that strength is something that's very authentic you. And perhaps you want to say that, oh, I don't have something that's really unique, because everyone have this kind of skills. I'm just a sand in the sea. I'm just like everyone else. But I need to remind you that you are authentic. There is no single organism in this planet that will mimic you, because it's only you who have that combination of strength, your personal self, and that self-expression. So you are one in the universe. By believing into that, you can start on analyzing your strength. The first one is combining between natural talents and experiences. So as I believe, there's an old saying also that there is no present and there is no future. There is only past that repeated by itself. And I need to remind you that I get this quote from Criminal Minds. So What it means is that it doesn't come like that. It means that you may not realize it, but it's actually always there since the day you were born. Something that comes into repetition, whether you realize it or not, it becomes your natural strengths. And marry with the experiences along the life that you have been led through, you're going to find your strength. So how to discover the strength itself? First one is what I call it as the first burst exercise. So I'm going to quickly skim through this, and I can share the slide also. So if you want to take your time later on to do all these exercises, please do. And then the next one, so first is first burst, second is weakness identifier, third is converting weaknesses, and fourth, you're going to find your natural talents. So what is first burst exercise? So later on, after this session, I would like you to grab your pen and then write down 20 things you are great at in 60 seconds. So this is something that you need to do without thinking. It's not like, oh, I'm going to think like for another hour. No, this is something that's come like first burst, only 60-second, time it, and then write down all those 20 things, okay? And then the second one is to identify your weakness. So write down 3 weaknesses you think you have. This is, for example, I know my weakness since the start. My weakness is in math and specifically in data. So when it takes someone else in my team that can work seeing the data and directly know, oh, something wrong in this part because the graph showing down and then the other part showing up, and it's like, oh God, this is so difficult. It is so difficult for me to see that pattern. And because I know that that is my weakness, I can know how to work around that. So this weakness identifier doesn't mean that you need to be not confident about, but actually you know the strategy to work towards that. So why I need you to list your weaknesses? Because I want you to convert it, the strength into what I call as an opposite strength. So for example, my weakness is in numerical, in data reading, but my comforted strength, my strength is actually to presenting in visuals. So, and also my strength is to identify the strategy. So when I'm lacking into data analysis, but once I can get the gist of that data, I can convert that into strategy. What it means is that by identifying this weakness, I know that every time I move somewhere or I build another team, I need to have my own data person that I trust so that that data person can give me some insights and I can formulate the strategy fast. So that's what I mean when you can convert your weaknesses into converted strength. Maybe another one is that I'm not good in writing text, long text. So because I know that I'm not good in writing text, when I'm presenting, I don't like to write very lengthy slide or docs. I'm just going to make it in visuals because it's easier for me to present the flow in visuals instead of on writings. So this is, for example, analytical skill. I'm going to focus on solutions. And instead of focusing on writing, I'm going to focus on visuals or graph. So we are not going to waste the time to work on the weaknesses, but we are going to find how to work to convert that weaknesses to become your converted strength. So the fourth one is that I want you to list your natural talents, and then you can ask your friends, your families, and also your colleague, and what they think you can naturally do well. When I ask all my surroundings on this natural talents, apparently what came into their mind is that I like to speak, and then I like to lead projects, and then that is apparently is already my natural talents, and that's what I'm really working on. So with all these exercises, you are going to list out, and then you are going to find things that maybe you didn't realize before, and then you tick on that. So after you find that strengths, you're going to create your own personal Avengers, like what I did with my enabler and also evolver. Maybe you want to call yourself, because you're a data person, you're going to say yourself as a data mastermind. Or maybe you are a visual person. You want to make yourself as design Avenger or something like that. So by having those personal Avenger, you can brand yourself and you can put their personal branding on your own elevator speech. You can put it also on your social media, and it's easier for you to introduce yourself because you know yourself well, and it's easier for other people to relate because they can find like one single strength, something that they become really reminding them about you. So make your strengths stand out. Involve in various projects. Make it visible on social media, and also establish the network that will work for you. So you already know how to make your strengths stand out. Now the next one is that understand that this world is full of possibilities. So when I call it as the future possibilities, mean there is no rigid plans, there is no rigid destinations. So you are not going to answer what job you want to be doing in 5 years time because you may not know it. But with future possibilities, you know that there are multiple possibilities that you can pursue, and it makes you excited. So these possibilities, for example, you want to identify 3 things. First one is your obvious possibilities, like if you're working hard and staying in the lane of your current work, what is the next step? Perhaps in 2 years or 1 year, you're going to be team leader. So that is obvious possibilities. Second one, what is your ambitious possibilities? So if you can work even harder, if the opportunity meet at the right time, what will make you, what is the person's or what is the role that will be there for you because you're working extra for that. And the third one is the dream possibilities, means that if there is no restrictions in this world, if you get all the time and you get all the money, what is your dream possibilities? I'm going to share you mine. So back in 2020, before I moved to Zenius, my obvious possibilities is that if I stayed in Hello Doctor, I will be a senior VP. And then my ambitious one is that time I'd say to myself, I want to be C-level this year. And then my dream possibilities is that I want to work from anywhere in this world, because I don't think that staying enchained behind the desk defining who I am. And then interestingly 2020 happened. I reached my ambitious goal, and then I'm able to work from home because pandemic happened. It's a blessing in disguise for me. So by identifying these possibilities, you are gearing yourself and you're opening yourself towards any opportunities in this world, because you can have the sight, you can see what will be the possibilities for you. So when you have the possibilities, you can identify, what do I need to know? If I want to be C-level, what do I need to know? And the second one, who can help me? Who is the person that in your network or outside your network that you need to reach out to so that it can help you to reach your possibilities? So now you have this army, you have these arsenals of identifying your strength. You are going to identify the possibilities, and you're going to know what you need to know and who you can help you. The last one is hacking the future. So this is what I'm excited about, is that I also have just found the wonder of career coaching. So sometimes we are so busy in our mind, like, oh, there are so many things, like I want to be there, but I just don't know how. I just don't have the confidence. Do I even have the talents? Where do I need to go? And so on and so on. So in career coaching, coaching itself means that the coach will work with you as a coachee to define and to discover multiple solutions to your problems, but it's not them telling you, it's you working together with the coach. So through coaching, you can discuss your career objectives, you can remove your career obstacles, and also you can create a career plan. This is coming from experiences as well, where when I'm helping some of my friends through the career coaching, I haven't coached that many of people yet because I've just started as well. But out of 11 coachee that I coached within the last 2 months, 3 of them get the career dreams that they want to. One get moved to another company. Another one rehired back to Jakarta after he moved to Surabaya. The other one also increased the level from team leaders to become a manager. So say like, is it true because I have this magical power? I don't see myself as having that magical power, but coaching make them realize the obstacles that they didn't see before, so they can work to remove that obstacles. So I would like to offer this opportunity to all of you. If you would like to also going through the wonders of career coaching, I'm here to help you. And feel free to book a what I call as a discovery call, because coaching itself is a long journey. It doesn't end only in one session, but we are going to go through several processes. Usually it takes like 4 sessions. And if you would like to have that discussion with me, this is my Calendly, where you can book and you can find the time that is most suitable for you. So all in all, the career itself is an exciting journey, and it should not make you stress. And that's why my last message is that have fun. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Tantia, for such an insightful, wonderful, and heartwarming sessions. Well, I would like to recap all of those remarkable journey of yours and the sharing that you have delivered to all of us today. That yes, job doesn't define our career because we do have the control to our career. And first thing first, that regarding, well, some people might say that, oh, I don't have passion to a certain extent, that maybe this is not the way I should live my life with. But passion doesn't come by itself, so that we need to be engaged with passion by engaging ourselves in many activities so that we know whether or not that kind of feelings we have within us could be something that truly working for ourselves in the near future. And yeah, we should not wait. This is a truly a good reminder to any of us, because sometimes we wait for the second opportunity to come, but we should start now in order to grab the future that we wish to achieve. And yeah, career nowadays is is quickling, so there is no certain pattern, just like what we used to hear about it. So um, in order to achieve that, we need to design our operating system in order to work with it. And yeah, DTM Tantia already shared to us about 7 high demand skills for us to bear in mind. And in order to discover our passion, we need to combine the natural strength that we have with seeing the opportunities, and we combine those two to meet into the middle ground. And because we as a human being, we are authentic, that no one else will ever mimic ourselves, so we need to be confident in ourselves because we are authentic, just like what DTM Tantia had said earlier. And in order to discover the strengths that we have, we can utilize and try to practice 4 steps that has been explained about: first, burst exercise, weakness identifier, convert your weakness, and also the natural talents. And after that, we can move to the future possibilities, because there is no rigid plan nor destination with regard to the possibilities. So we need to identify the possibilities, be it the obvious one, the ambitious one, and of course, the dream one that we want to have and we want to do in our life. And yeah, lastly, we need to also find some ways to hack the future. One of which is through the coaching session, that just like what DCM Tantia has shared to all of us. So everyone can find their own hacking ways to achieve the future that we wish to be. And yeah, thank you so much, DCM Tantia, for such a wonderful sharing. Now, I believe that amongst 47, nearly 50 participants here, we have different and tons of questions to you, Dicam Tantia. So I would like to open the ones that has been shared and submitted the questions to our Slido. First, we have our Toastmaster member here, Toastmaster Andika. He asked that, do we need to pursue career that is aligned with our passion? Or do we create our passion over what we are currently doing?
Yes. So thank you for the questions, Andika. So what I believe is that some of us may be already lucky enough to find that passion and that love as early as possible in their career, because it takes me several years to find that. So if you have identified that and you want to pursue that, it is something, it's going to be a blissful journey. But if you haven't find that, it doesn't mean that it's an end of your life. It means that you need to be engaged with it, and then you will find yourself whether it's something that is your true calling. And then if it is not, then you need to ask the questions again to yourself, like, does it serve my purpose in life? Does it make me happy? That's the second one. And also, do I give the benefit to the others? Do I give value to the others? So if all those questions answer no, perhaps you want to explore a different path. So it happens to me as well when I was in the first company, it's a research company, and then I was an HR person there. And then every morning before I went to work, I cried. I cried because I knew that I just don't feel anything about that work. I don't feel I give any value. It doesn't bring me happiness. And also, I don't feel like I'm engaged with the work. But then why I cried? Because that time I didn't know that there are other possibilities. I just knew that if I am there, that it means that this is my fate for my entire life. And apparently it's not. And I said to myself, like, I want to explore different things and I'm open to different things, and then trying to navigate towards that. And then I found the opportunity to work in headhunter. Once I work in headhunter, apparently 2 years later, I being into that situation again. I said, like, why it no longer serves me, no longer serves my purpose. And then I tried marketing. So, and then until I realized that I might not be into marketing door-to-door person, then I tried operations. So that is the journey that you can go through. But mind you, one thing is that um, it's not the same with giving up. It doesn't mean that once there is a hurdle, you directly say, okay lah, not for me. But you need to give your all first. You need to give your best first, and then you determine by yourself whether this path is for me or not. But if you just, giving up early, it is not an act of finding a passion. It is an act of just giving up in life, and that's something that we want to avoid.
Wonderful answer. Thank you so much, DTM Tantia. There's also another one asking about the true calling, just like what you already mentioned, that I believe answer previously, your previous answer also directly answered to the question of how can we know our true calling? And if I may recap from your statements, that first we need to ask ourselves whether or not that would be something that we can find our purpose in life, and whether or not something that we do at that moment, does it bring happiness to ourselves, and does it also add benefits and value to ourselves and our life. And just like what you said, that if the answers to all of those questions are no, maybe we can discover another one, right?
Yes. I need to add one more thing is, so when you find it, it doesn't mean that it will stay like that forever, or you are going to have like that's the only passion that you're going to have for the rest of your life. It can change and it can evolve at the same time. I mean, like for myself, I found coaching just this year. I don't know coaching before. I thought coaching is only for sports coaching or vocal coach. I never knew there's another term which is career coach. And so um, you need to be open to yourself, and you need to be open to the universe as well, because that if that interest or that kind of like calling from heart, it's there, you need to react to it. I mean, reacting here doesn't mean like, oh, suddenly I'm into singing, I'm just going to move and put my resignation just right now. But you want to explore that, you want to engage with that, so you can make sure that this is not just a like a just like that, and then after that you're not going to be sustained in that feelings towards that true or new passion. But you want to make sure that you are going to be engaged with it, and you're going to have that sustainable engagement with your newfound passion.
Right. Yeah. Talking about the engagement itself, DTM Tantia. Well, it is also relevant and quite relatable to another question from our audience today. That
Yeah.
with regard to engagement, sometimes we need to be settled, right? To a certain extent, that maybe we find the settlement in the current workplace that we feel safe and engaged to all the out to the environment that we are working with, but let's say that we feel that the current company is enough for us, for example, and then we want to change our career track that does not quite relevant to our background, for instance. So how to build the new engagement and how to build the portfolio, let's per se, that when we don't have quite previous personal experiences to that new certain level.
Got it. So that is interesting. That is part of squiggly career as well, is that you are not going to stay in like a certain lane and then you're going to stay there forever. Like, for example, perhaps like you are now in, let's say you are now in finance, and then there are so much things going on right now that people are talking about product management because of how startup being built around product. So you want to start trying out about product. So how do you build a portfolio towards that? It's that you can involve in small projects outside the work. That's one example. That small projects will help you to build your portfolio. That, for example, you're helping your friends to build their own app, or you're helping a nonprofit organizations to build their own app using yourself as a consultant or a free pro bono consultant. Or the second one is that you can also ask inside the company whether you can be involved in different projects, not as a full-time, but just be part of the project itself. That is also possible. Or in my case, because a long time ago, I didn't know that there is this possibility to working on other projects. What I did is that I joined Toastmasters, and then when I was there, I'm actually really active in marketing the club, marketing the activities, and I creating like different marketing events, and also creating event that is really, like really worked out. Like I can invite into club meeting with physical club meeting to 50 people, to 60 people. And that time, I've used that as my portfolio for marketing. So when I apply for marketing job, I say that, look, I'm working for this non-profitable organization, and then I'm able to raise the awareness. I'm able to raise the club membership by 4 times within 1 year. And so I think I have the it for marketing. So that kind of engagement you can try by having like being open, as I mentioned, open to possibilities. And then you may want to work for like different projects that is outside the work or inside the company itself, and it is highly possible. So you should not have that thinking that I'm just going to be stuck here forever. I'm going to try something else, so that you slowly build your portfolio on it.
Right, thank you to DTM Tantia. Yes, sometimes when we are having such difficulties and building our new portfolio and try to adapt ourselves in new working environments. And this is also relevant to another question from our guest here, Roshiadi Adnan, that with regard to building a new portfolio and moving to a new workplace, a new work environment, well, obviously we are dealing with new kind of people that sometimes we did not expect to happen or to encounter. So how do you suggest that, how do we manage to control our working environment when the people, let's say in our new workplace or in our current workplace, who are not supporting us enough, let's say we, in terms of the work cooperation or having sort of discussion?
Yes. So I believe that moving to different organizations always have a challenge, and adjustment is workplace adjustment, work environment, and teamwork adjustment is always challenging. So I mean, take from my case that I moved work 6 times within the last 10 years. So what I did is that this is like the keys that I found is that anywhere you go, you need to remember that you need to give what people want so that you get what you need. In a sense that it doesn't matter whether you work for Indonesians, American, French, and now Indians. All of us have something that we need. So if you would like to have something from other people, you need to make sure that you talk in this frequency that called what is it in it for me. So what it means is that if you are asking for help, if you are asking for a cooperation, you need to make sure that it aid towards their objective as well. For example, you need someone to help in your project, and you need to make sure that when they help you on your project, they are able to reach their OKR, their objective as well, or they are going to get credits so that there is something for them so that you can get what you need. So no matter where you go, you're going to adjust yourself with different type of people. And it doesn't matter even if you stay, there will always be new people coming to the organization, but always be coming into that frequency of was it in it for me? So when you talk with people, you know that you are helping them to get their objective so that you also able to reach your objective.
Awesome, DTM Tantia. Yes, I do agree. I also feel the same thing that you just say to us, that anywhere we go, we need to give what people want in order to receive what we need. Because sometimes when we are dealing with the new situations and with new workplace and new kind of people, and it is hard to adjust ourselves in order to perform best according to their belief, for instance, and to their certain objectives. But at the end of the day, there will always be something that we learn and we can apply on ourselves. And that is also part of the journey in finding that passion, to discover the strength, talents, and how to combine all of those things in order to settle with our dreams, for instance. And that is also interesting because talking about settling with our life, settling with our current path in the workplace, and even if that for some of us are moving to a new field that has not been their expertise yet, for instance, and sometimes there are moments, it is undeniably correct that sometimes in our path, even if that we already find, let's say, our dream jobs, we find ourselves like lacking of motivations. We find that we are lost throughout our journey. So how across your previous experiences from different kind of work fields, so how did you, or how do you motivate yourself when, let's say, you were feeling like to giving up and lost directions in order to reach your goal?
Yeah, got it. So I as I moving towards my career, I build more awareness in myself and also awareness on what motivates me and what demotivates me at the same time. And working into that self-awareness really helping me on staying motivated. So one of my major demotivator is the stagnant job or stagnant work, or basically working into the same thing all again. So because of that, I knew that if I'm working into the same thing like for sometimes, I'm going to be extremely bored, and then I'm going to be slacking because I feel like there is no challenge. So because knowing that, I informed my CEO that if there is any new projects, new business line, I would like to take that opportunities, and I want to be the one who enable that, because something new, something that is not there, it really excites me to make it happen. So because of that, I'm being given that task like in our doctor. Every year, there will always be a new project or new business line that being given to me, and I was so fortunate about that. And even in Zenius, it's not every year. It feels like every 3 months there was always like new things to be developed. So I knew that because I knew my motivators. How to find that, it differs from one journey to another. And usually what we can do, if you want to start this exercise, is that you can put a journals every day. Like now I put a self-discipline to write my own journal on daily basis, in which I write down of what I think like I feel like I'm really grateful about, and also what I feel like I'm really motivated, feel excited about. So I can see the pattern on day to day. I develop my awareness on myself so that I can find, if there's any day when I feel like down, I can find the resource of why I was feeling down, and then I can work to fix it. So there is no certain like single answer of how to stay motivated, because everyone has their own motivating source, and you need to build that awareness so that you know what is your motivators and what is your demotivators.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, DTM Tantia. So by the way, we still have another 13 minutes for this question and answer. I hope you are not getting bored with all these tremendous questions that we received today. But yeah,
I'm so excited about it.
yes, talking about journaling, yeah, there's also another example and a solid example about writing down a journal. It, it's not only about motivating you at a certain level, but at the same time it keeps you grounded as a person. Something that sometimes we are missing to observe on a daily basis, but apparently we are experiencing something that is actually priceless to ourselves. So keeping up the journal itself can also help in motivating, because I also experienced that from my previous journey, DTM Tantia. And thank you so much for reminding us about that. And yes, we also have another questions here from our former Toastmaster member, future soon to be Toastmaster member again, from Kath. She asked two questions, but but they are relatable. So I would like, she asked, what would be the trigger that, my apology, am I audible?
Yeah.
Question.
Okay, so she asked, what is the trigger that made you think that, oh, I should change my career path, apart from wanting to achieve C-level before a certain kind of age? And moving on to that, when you change your career path, there might be some hard skills required to excel in your new role. Some courses can be pricey. How do you overcome this?
Yes. So I think like you went to know like the exact time for you to move. For me is that I recognize the signs. First is that's questions about, does it make me happy? Does it still bring me happiness? And then second one, does it serve on my purpose in life? And then do I still give value to the company, the place where I'm working for? It can be company, it can be organization. And as I mentioned, if the answer is all no, then it's time to find or to open to the new opportunities. So for me, when I know that realization, and I even knew like the pattern, it always comes in July every year. Like that question's always, it's an annual question for me. And I saw the pattern is the very like critical moment is within May to July. And then so when I make that identifications, usually my physical trigger is that I move my status on LinkedIn from not available to available. So that it means that any recruiter or HR can contact me, and I'm keen to explore the opportunities. So I think like that science is different from one another. And as I before, is that you need to make sure that you already gave your all. So this is not a sign of you giving up, but it's a sign because you are ready to explore more. So that mindset needs to be there first, is that you are doing this because you want to be benefiting more. You want to have a better contribution, you want to have a bigger contribution. It's not that because you are moving out because kind of like you lead a failed projects, or you just don't wanna be there anymore because you just want to give up. But you want to make sure that when you move out, you already put a mark in that place. You have a good credentials, you know, you already achieved something, and you have a positive relationship, so that when you move out, you are leaving a very positive mark in the company. Sorry, the next question, I forgot the next question because I was so into the first question.
So the next question was, when we change our career path, there might be some hard skills, and
Oh,
yeah,
hard
important
skills.
and
Yeah,
easy.
got it. So in that part is that gaining skills right now, it can be pricey, but it can be cheap at the same time. So for example, perhaps the best one is you want to take a course that has the certifications, and then that certifications is it's pricey because it's specific only on that area. But maybe you want to subscribe into something like LinkedIn Learning, where you being charged on monthly basis, subscription basis, and you get access to so many hard skills training there. And then it's so much cheaper. Or you can also instead of, I mean, like that is one part, but the most important part is that, as I mentioned, you need to be engaged, you need to do it. So the training itself is not enough because you need to implement it, and you are going to have a proven skill. So perhaps now you are not into data analysis, but then you are helping your friends, as I mentioned, that needs a data analysis. And then apparently it works. And then it helps the friend to develop their own app and their own startup. And it can be your own portfolio, and you can write that on your CV. So when it comes to CV, I say that there is no one CV works for all. Every time you want to explore new opportunities, you need to highlight what is important in that role and then align it with your CV. Perhaps in one company, they are going to emphasize more on social skill, people management. So you need to highlight all the people management skills first before the technical skills. Maybe in the other company, they are emphasizing more into the technical skills, and you emphasize that first before you go to the people skills. So it really depends on which company that you're applying for, which role that you're applying for. So you can adjust your CV, your summary, even your what else? Yeah, the letter, also the first letter, I forget the name. What is it? The name is that you need to submit a letter usually, so that you can adjust it. Yes, that one. You cover letter, you can adjust the cover letter based on the job description that is needed by the certain company. So that is my gist. There's always a different way. There's nothing that's say too expensive or too cheap. One way also, this is something that I just learned from last year. You need to invest in yourself. So how much you need to invest in yourself, you determine the percentage. But for me, I invest around 1% to 5% of my monthly income on my what is called upskilling training. So either I'm going to buy a book this month, or I'm going to join a course, but that budget is always there. You may want to increase that. Okay, this year I'm going to, because it's a hard time, just going to spend 1%, but maybe next year I'm going to spend 5%. The year after I'm going to spend 10%. But that kind of investment is not worthless because you're investing in yourself. There is no other person that is going to invest in yourself except you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, DTM Tantia, for sharing about that, and also reminding us about, yes, everyone, mind your LinkedIn. Don't forget to utilize that in order to promote ourselves, in order to be attractive to the recruiter, for instance. And yeah, there is no, I also, we are also on the same page that there is no one CV that works for all. So it is also a good reminder to all of us that we need to highlight the relevant ones in order to adjust to our desired place to work at. Thank you, DTM Tantia. And another interesting question here from the audience, that you were talking about the good credentials. So some it is something that is, truly desirable for everyone to work with, and to work at. And with regard to having the good credentials itself, in order to pursue certain positions, for example, yourself as current COO, should we be, let's say, famous, quote unquote, or having truly a good credentials to a certain extent that when people are talking or people are hearing the name of Tantia Dian, for instance, oh, they instantly know, oh yeah, I know her, and she is undoubtedly great to achieve this position. So yeah, should we be famous, quote unquote, or to be good acknowledged? So or should we build or publish more, credentials to achieve that?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question. There's a combination of how you can be recognized as an industry expert, plus how do you effectively network. So I know that all these two items are something that can be very scary. I mean, when we're talking about networking, some of us think like, oh, I'm a shy person, like I don't know how to network and how to even network. Like, am I going to attend an event and then like randomly giving my name card to different people? I attended this type of networking event and it doesn't work because you only given like 1 hour and then you give name cards to everyone, and maybe some of them are going to discard your name cards directly. So the networking strategy that works is actually by knowing or researching on the persons that you want to be connected with, and then you can reach out to them via different networks. You can reach out to them maybe via LinkedIn, for example, and then you are going to give that networking doesn't mean that you are directly asking them for something, but you're actually offering something to help them. So what is interesting, like for example, when I came to Zenius, I didn't know that there is an opening of COO because it was not advertised. And 80% of the job out there is not advertised. It's just being known by mouth to mouth. So did I knew about that position is that the one that I reached out to was my junior he posts something on the LinkedIn, and then it's interesting. It says like he is finding an operation head for one of the companies VC portfolio. And then I reach out to him and say like, this is something interesting. Can we talk about it? And after that, we discuss. And then because he know me because I was his senior, and then he introduced me to the CEO. And then interestingly, the CEO itself find a reference, not from my previous leader, but the person find the reference from my ex-team members in Touchpoint, where I worked 7 years ago. So it means that sometimes you find that opportunities because you are searching for it, in the sense that I look for that writings on LinkedIn and then I reach out to the person. And sometimes you just never knew that some people that you've crossed paths with in the past give you the credentials, give you the reference, even though you are not asking. So it means that I'm not saying that you need to have like a facade, or kind of like I'm just going to be like nice to every people. It's actually, you need to think like how I'm going to help other people, how I'm going to add value to other people, so that I don't know how, I don't know when, but the universe will pay back to you. So when you're always in the mindset that how can I help other people, how can I give added value, there is a positive chain that will come back to you again. So that being famous is not something that I say that's something that you want to hack about it. Like you're not going to be, I'm not saying that you need to be an influencer tomorrow and start to post so many things on LinkedIn. but I'm going to say that you need to always be in that mindset on how can you give back and how you can give positive value to the others and how you can use your own talents to help other people.
Thank you so much, DTM Tantia, for such a wonderful and closing remark for today. Well, yeah, there's also a great reminder to all of us that always put a mindset, how can we help other people? Because at the end of the day, the universe will pay us back for everything that we do in order to give that positive values for others. Thank you so much, DTM Tantia. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up our question and answer sessions, but I still noticed that there are many questions still unanswered from our audiences. If I may ask a short question for anyone amongst the audiences who would like to ask their questions regarding our topics for today, is there any way that we can reach you personally so that you can get back to all the audiences?
Yes, sure. So you can reach me via my email. Let me just type it down. tantia90@gmail.com, or you can reach me on my LinkedIn. It's also the same one. Or if you want to book a private call with me, you can also, as I shared earlier, the link to book a 45 call if you want to have like that coaching and just discussing privately, so that I can help you to identify like different parts of your career obstacles. So it really depends on you, and I'm excited to help in any other way.
Okay, thank you, DTM Tantia. So everyone who, if you wish to ask more questions and more consultations about the career path, you can reach DTM Tantia through the email that has been provided in the chat box. And you can also click the link as provided in the chat box. So you can liaise with DTM Tantia directly with regard to your queries. Again, thank you.
Yes. Also, if you, sorry, let me add, if you have that list of questions that people are submitting through the, the Slido, and if you have the emails as well, you can share with me, and then I can send the answer after this session.
All right, thank you so much. So for those who have submitted your questions through our Slido app, because I could not recognize the names of the sender because some people put their names anonymous. So feel free to submit your questions with your name and emails to us and through the account of Welcome to SCBD, so that we can compile all of your questions and we can send your questions directly to DTM Tantia, and she will get back to you with the responses. Okay, thank you so much, DTM Tantia. Sure. And before we close our session for today, I would like to call our president of the club, the Toastmaster Galvin. We have a token of appreciation for such a wonderful session that you have given to us today. So Toastmaster Galvin, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Garda, for moderating this wonderful education speech. And of course, thank you for distinguished Toastmaster Tantia for giving us such a wonderful, such an insightful speech about how to make a better career out of ourselves. Thank you for sharing with us. And now I would like to just share just a little bit of token of appreciation from our club, from SCBD Toastmaster Club. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Oh, awesome.
Just a little bit of token, a certificate of appreciation from us here in SCBD Toastmaster Club for you, distinguished Toastmaster Tantia Dian Permata Indah. I hope you had an enjoyable speech. And of course, I hope you had an enjoyable time with us, with the participants here. And please, all of us, give a round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Tantia.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And of course, before we close the education speech, we have to do the most awaited session, which is the photo session.
Yeah, please, sure.
Please, Toastmaster Andika, lead us.
Thank you, Toastmaster Galvin. So I would like to invite all of our 49 I still have you to turn on the video. I'm gonna count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's have 3 poses. Okay, so the first pose goes 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. One more. Your ultimate pose, please. 3, 2, 1. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tantia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Back to you, Toastmaster Garda.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster Andika and Toastmaster Galvin. And once again, let's give our speaker a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for DTM Tantia Dian, who has shared her valuable experiences and insightful sharing about how to pursue and design our career path. So that, yeah, I hope that after this session, everyone gets enlightened in order to pave ourselves and to achieve the dream path or dream life that we wish to achieve and to live with. Thank you so much again, DTM Tantia. I hope and we wish that everything you do and for your future endeavor will be the very best and all the very best to your future endeavor as well. And of course, we hope to see you again in other questions. And yeah, don't get bored with our frequent contact from SCBD Toastmasters. Shall we want to have you again in the future, because I believe that everyone will get excited to hear more from you and to learn more from your previous experiences. And now that concludes our second session. It will be the educational sessions. And now moving on to the next session. Yeah, we just finished with the educational session from DTM Tantia. And next we have evaluation session. This evaluation session is of Toastmasters, because just like what we already heard from our prepared speaker, Toastmaster Irfan, who has delivered his project in Toastmasters. And now let's hear from the evaluation part from the evaluator. That will be Toastmaster Galvin, who will be delivering his evaluation sessions, but it is not up to me to lead the sessions. So for the one who will lead this evaluation session, I would like to call the general evaluator, Toastmaster Aryo, to lead the sessions and call the individual evaluator and your rangers. Toastmaster Aryo, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gara. My fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, as Toastmaster, this distinguished Toastmaster Tantia has said before, that we need to acknowledge our mistakes and our flaws, therefore we can learn. In Toastmasters, we have spirit of learning from our evaluations. As a general evaluators, I will lead the session, and for the starter, I'll just invite Toastmaster Galvin to give an evaluations for the speech of Toastmaster Irfan. Toastmaster Galvin, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aryo. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Irfan for completing your speech. It was such a great speech. It was such a relevant speech with our session today, which is about career. And I would like to just give a little bit of feedbacks about your speech. The first point is that I would like to give great points that you have incorporated in your speeches. The first point is that you open your speech with an engaging way, right? You answer, you ask the audience. You ask the audience by raising their hand, and also by requesting audience to raise their hands. You also make it easier for all of us to open our camera, right? Because it makes sure that we have to open our camera, and only after that we can raise our hand. It's such a great way to engage the audience. And then also you continue that questions with another relevant question. I believe it you ask about raising their hands. You ask about something about do you want your team to deliver more value, and then your next statement is about how do we make our team deliver more value, which is really relevant to that. And then after that, you continue your speech by pointing out what are the ways to achieve such goals. And that's the first point. The second point is that you use lists. People really like lists, right? Just like 7 ways to be richer. The fourth way will make you shocked, right? Something like that. Lists are always bait for people. So it is a great way to engage us as well. And the last point is that you make sure that your last several statements in your speech is really relevant to the points itself, to about how to be a great leader, how to make sure that your team is doing better. But in any kind of great speeches, there will always be things that you can improve. The first point is that about the title. You only mention the title at the end of the speech, which is not that good. I believe it will be better if we can mention the title from the earlier part of the speech, and also the title about meaning creator. I still not quite grasp what is the really meaning of meaning creator. It will be better if you pointing it out. This is the meaning of meaning creator. And then the last one that I would like to highlight is that your gesture is here below the camera line. We cannot see your gesture. So I believe it will be better if you can raise up your hand to right beside your neck. Those are the points that I would like to highlight to you, and I hope I can hear more from you, Toastmaster Irfan, with a better speech in the next session. That's all from me. Back to Toastmaster Aryo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Galvin.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Galvin, as the evaluator for the Toastmaster event. Next, not only we only evaluate the speaker of the prepared speech, but we also give evaluation to the meeting from the beginning towards the end. But as Toastmaster Gada has explained to you before, I will not be alone. So I will just call Toastmaster Andika as the grammarian. Toastmaster Andika, please give your report.
Thank you, GE. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So as a grammarian, actually, I am not becoming of your police tonight, but I will share some of the learnings that I have from all of the speakers that we can always learn throughout our learning journey. So I didn't catch a lot of mistakes here, but I only catch a few. And then the first example is, it's about the structure of the sentence. So the speaker said, good deliver result. So I suggest to change it to deliver good result. The second example is about plural versus singular. So the speaker said, if we are a leader. So it should be like, if we are leaders. The third one is also about plural. So we find ourselves. So it should have been, we find ourselves. The next one is two items that is very. So this is also about a plural, but it is more in the to be. So I suggest to change it to two items that are very. The last one is if you pointing it out. So if you see here, there is a need of adjustment on the grammar, or especially in the tenses. So we can say if you pointed it out. So those are the learning from our grammatical errors that we learn from our speakers. I also caught a few of wonderful quotes for tonight. The first one is coming from our DTM Tantia. You are one in the universe. Thank you for reminding us that we are unique and we have that potential from our creator. And the next one, the wonderful words are coming from Toastmaster Irfan. Working with heart is key to have a great team. So that's all for now. So I hope we always learn from our mistakes, from others' mistakes, and keep learning. Back to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Andika, for the grammarian report. The next one, I will just call the INW counter to give the report. So please welcome Toastmaster Nurul Aisyah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aryo. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I would like to give you the report about the IWOD report, and I would like to share my screen. All right, so is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, so far I count the filler words and also repeated words during the speeches. Here are some reports. The first is Toastmaster Galvin with 3 filler words, and then Toastmaster Garda with 2 filler words. Toastmaster Dwi 0 filler words, and then Toastmaster Irfan with 1 filler words and 2 repeated words, and then Toastmaster Aryo with 2 filler words, and Toastmaster Andika with 3 filler words. Okay, so that's all from my reports. Thank you for your attention. Back to you, Toastmaster Aryo.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nurul Aisyah, for the INWD report. I hope that by learning from the report of the INWD, we can keep our mind to not use the filler words, long pauses, and repetitions in the future. Once again, thank you. Now, it's my time to give a deep evaluations about the meeting from the beginning towards the end. First, I want to congratulate you all for being here. And up to the last part of this meeting, we keep maintaining the attendance in at the number of 50. So congratulations for investing your time at the right place. I hope this meeting is the right place. And first, I want to highlight first point that is very brilliant from Toastmaster Gada. During the introduction, he used a very convincing way about what this meeting about. And this is something that is really important to highlight what is the meeting about, so that the attendants can keep themselves in the way that the meeting is going to be. However, there are 3 points that I want to highlight to Toastmaster Gada as the Toastmaster of the meeting. The first one is about the inconsistency in team introduction. So there are, for people who will be part of the evaluation team, there are different ways of introduction. For example, for the GE and then grammarian and then WD counter, you introduce them by yourselves. Meanwhile, for the timer, you let the timer to introduce the role by herself. I understand this due to the time management, but since we have only one speaker, because at the beginning we have 2, I think it will be better if you can adjust it to become, to make it more even, to make it looks like, okay, everything is on the table. And the second one is, from also for the Toastmaster of the meeting, when Toastmaster of the meeting, when Toastmaster of the meeting try to introduce something, for example, try to introduce Galvin for the evaluators of Toastmaster Irfan, the Toastmaster of the meeting should not, according to my observation, provide so much information that is supposed to be introduced by the evaluators. And same goes also when the Toastmaster of the meeting is going to explain about the general evaluation part, so that what is it called, the role takers should take part of it and explain to the audiences. And the third point is, during the wrap up of the Toastmaster Tantia session, I think it would be better if you can highlight the 3 takeaways or 3 learning points instead of recite all the important points, because there are so many important points from Toastmaster Tantia. It's a very good session, but it'll be better if you can put or explain just 3 or up to 5 key lesson or key takeaway points from the sessions. And for the grammarian and WOD counter, there's no significant feedback for them. It's a really good report from the grammarian and WOD counter. And regarding to the time management, we started on time and we will finish our meeting online too. So thank you so much for your time. And since the spirit of the evaluations is not to be perfect, but to keep ourselves know where we are not good, so we can know where is the area to improve. I hope that the sessions will benefit you all. So thank you so much, and back to Toastmaster of the meeting.
Right, thank you so much for your constructive feedback, Toastmaster Aryo. And I hope that, again, as I said earlier at the beginning, that Toastmaster is practically a safe place for us to make mistakes, because at the end of the day and at the end of our meeting, there will always be a learning process that we can eventually improve ourselves in order to bring such an insightful yet fruitful session to all of you today. Thank you so much. Lastly, before I end my session as the Toastmaster for the meeting, that will be all for me as your Toastmaster for the meeting. So thank you so much for all attendance. And I hope that our educational session today will inspire you in any ways possible and show you, particularly our guests who are curious and interested to know more about Toastmasters, and particularly to our club, SCBD Toastmasters Club. You can contact Toastmaster Almira, our Vice President of Membership, through the WhatsApp number as provided on your screen. And you can also follow our club through social media. Right, this one. Yeah. You can follow our Instagram page at scbd.toastmasters, and once this meeting is finished, the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, so that if you miss at certain part of our meetings and our sessions for today, you want to restream and you want to hear what DTM Tantia has shared earlier, you can stream through the recording on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. And that is all for me as your Toastmasters of the meeting. So see you next week, my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. And I would like to give the control back to our president of the club, Toastmaster Galvin. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Garda, for bringing us through the meeting. And it was such a lovely meeting that you have led for us. Thank you. And also thank you for the evaluation for Toastmaster Aryo and also his team. And now, before I close the meeting, I would like to ask some of the first-time guests to give their opinion about SCBD Toastmaster meeting. I think I would like to ask Yazid. Hi, Yazid.
Yes, hello.
Yazid. Yeah, hi. Can you give us your opinion about our meeting?
Oh, sorry if my English is not so good, but this, as you said, this is my first time in joining this meeting, and I really enjoy this. I don't know, it would be so much fun instead of wasting my time at Friday night after working hours, like I usually do. And now I think I get something more worth it to spend with instead of anything else I did before. Thank you.
Thank you, Yazid. Yes, that is really the point that why we choose Friday night as our schedule rest. That it is to make sure that our Friday night is a fruitful one. And thank you for your comment, Yazid. And I hope that we can see you in our next meeting at the same timing next week. Thank you, Yazid. And now I would like to also maybe invite Toastmaster Mike Lim to give your opinion.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I must congratulate you for a very impressive meeting, one of the very impressive ones that I've attended for a long time. It went very smoothly, very seamless, and the speakers were good. And of course, the career talk itself was quite a wow session. as relevant to all those who worked before or those who are still thinking about career. So once again, Mr. President and members, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Toastmaster Mike Lim, for your comments and your suggestions for us. Okay, and now, before I close the meeting, I would like to remind all of the members of SCBD Toastmaster, and also for the visiting Toastmaster, of course, you are also welcome to stay here after I close the meeting. Why? Because I would like to announce who are the candidates for the executive committee of SCBD Toastmaster for the term of 2021 and 2022. Of course, for the guests are also welcome to stay and see who are our potential leaders for the next term. Okay, now that's the cue for me to close the meeting. With the sound of this power bank, I will close the meeting. That's the sound, and happy weekend, everyone.
Happy weekend, thank you.
Happy weekend, y'all.
Happy
Weekend. Thank you
weekend.
so
Thank you so much.
much.
You can stay for the
Thank you so much.
chit chat.
You can stay, but now we will announce the candidates first, of course. But then after that, we will have our free room to discuss about anything about Toastmaster or about anything that you would like to discuss, of course.